Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel doing the solo story modes. It's been a while since I did a solo mode, and at this point they're celebrating the 1 year anniversary of Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel and the 25th anniversary of Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading Card Game itself. Which creates a weird situation, certainly because there is a lot of stuff extra to buy, frankly, with crystals, and not a lot of extra crystals to do, um, to go around. So, because of that, I need to do the solo mode. Now, inherently, in doing the solo modes to get the crystals, I will get keys to unlock more secret packs, which would then will push you to spend more crystals. And it is a nefarious cycle to just forever push you to spend more and more in this game. But Konami has been actually, frankly, pretty bad about this game, really pushing any players to spend a lot of money because you really would have to spend, I suspect, somewhere around $800 before you even started to have enough cards in random packs to potentially do slightly better in rank play. And the slightly better in rank play definitely would not pay for itself. They also have been consistent, I wouldn't say good, about adding solo mode content. Here we have a dual restart, which is somewhat new, or maybe the newest thing, but I ideally want to just burn through these four at the bottom. Dream Domination. They've also changed how the interface works in Yu-Gi-Oh! So now these cutscenes that play in the solo mode will play on the loading screen or the title screen of Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel if you just leave it alone. So they almost act like screensavers in an era where screensavers are absolutely not necessary. They also play audio, so you'll get these weird sounds now if you launch the app and then walk away. So let's do Dream Domination. The Dream Mirror can freely change between the worlds of the light and darkness on the field, master both, and bring out monsters from each world to dominate the battle. Yep. 1 year in, there's still a lot of stuff I would preferred that they had focused on, such as having stories from the actual Yu-Gi-Oh! Cartoons in the solo mode, and very possibly just rethinking how the solo mode works altogether, because it is just a massive distraction away from ranked play, which is really the only thing they need to focus on, is having players versus players events and scenarios. Single player is not going to get you more or better competition, and there's just so many cards that these solo things aren't really teaching me, at least, how to play specific decks. And even if I did learn some kind of gimmick, it's not like each of these solo missions ends up giving you a loner deck that's, or a pre-built deck, not a loner deck. It doesn't give you 40 cards from Dream Domination to actually play after the fact. So you would effectively do this solo mode, and if you love Dream Domination as a theme, then you would have to open a bunch more cards to try and find it. And there very possibly isn't a selection pack or secret pack that's even centrally focused around Dream Domination. And then you have these extra values, that these extra currencies that don't mean anything. Somebody obviously is spending time on these drawings, even if they're just blown up images from the cards. The backgrounds probably aren't. The story takes place in the far reaches of a town somewhere, not very specific, I suppose. In a back alley hidden from the main street where the hustle and bustle could barely be heard, a stranger wandered about in a trance-like state. I'm going to try to go through these fairly quickly and see if I can get 3 or 4 episodes in a row. Then a voice spoke from nowhere, calling out to them, beckoning. Say, this is a rather strange dream you've landed up in, isn't it? And when the stranger turned, there stood a fortune teller behind them. The fortune teller curled a finger, called for the stranger to come closer. Those who visit this town are all lost in a dream. I have seen many souls with the same look in their eyes as you. Now let me ask you, what is it you see in your dreams? The stranger felt as though there was nothing they could hide. Taken by the fortune teller's mysterious presence, recounts of their dreams began to spill forth from the stranger's lip. This is really a lot of tell, don't show. Not a single thing being shown here other than the background. Once the stranger had finished, the fortune teller broke their silence. They say there are 2 kinds of dreams. Good omens that bring the dreamer happiness and good fortune, and bad omens that attract nothing but disaster and misfortune. Some also say that all dreams we see are dominated and being controlled by a lone figure somewhere. Perhaps the dreams you have seen have also been given to you by this individual. The fortune teller said, not a hint of dishonesty in their voice. The stranger swallowed, hanging on to every word. The fortune teller continued as tension hung like a thick fog. The one who dominates dreams changes its form depending on what dream it is giving to the dreamer. So you have, I guess, a angel type character and a devil type character. Although, actually, in Japanese tradition, white is more the color of death, and black is more a color of life. Almost exact opposite of Western ideas. That's why you get some weirdness in anime shows like Bleach, where the character is sometimes draped in white and sometimes draped in black, or multiple characters are that way. But I imagine, since this would have been a later addition to Yu-Gi-Oh, that they would probably be leaning more towards a Western mythology way of looking at things, since also you're seeing like animal wings or angel wings here. In good dreams, it will look like an angel, but in bad dreams, it will look like a demon. The disciples of the dream ruler will appear in the real world and leave a mysterious mirror by the dreamer's bedside, drawing them into the dream world. And so here you have like kid angel and demons. And then you have a anime girl sleeping next to an anime dog. I guess all the characters are animated, but yeah. One could say that the mirrors is a mystical gateway to the land of dreams. The sun, the moon motifs etched into the mirror can change the world of the dream depending on which one has risen and which one has set. If the sun is above, the dreamer is blessed with good omens. If the moon is on top, the dreamer is thrust into a nightmare. So the mirror changes, not the idea that if you sleep during the day when the sun is above, you'll have good dreams, and if you sleep during night, you'll have nightmares. Which was it for you, I wonder? And so that's just like a fairy tale type story. And then immediately after, yeah, I mean, it's not even a complete story. It's the introduction to a story. Then you have a practice that will give you exactly 3 copies of one card, and you have to use a loner deck. Inherently, a year into Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, I am still playing the one meta deck that I looked up online to make, and I just never have enough interest to go and look up another meta deck and see if I have enough crafting points, which is yet another currency, to create cards, or if I just somehow have enough cards to make another deck. I probably could make another deck, but then I'd have to learn another deck. Before I was playing the deck that I'm currently playing, the Zodiac Tri-Brigade, I was playing a pre-built deck that I did get in solo mode. So at a certain level, very early in your experience, getting a pre-built deck from solo mode can be helpful, but really it was just that one solo mode they did that. The rest of them, several other solo modes gave me pre-built decks, but they were all not worth playing. Too difficult, too complicated, or just not really playable in the current meta that other players are playing. Like, you have to have one of the, I imagine, top 20 best decks that are being played in Yu-Gi-Oh! To compete at all in ranked. And you want to compete in ranked because then it gives you a little bit more rewards, which gives you a little bit more crystals. The rewards are always very low, though. And as of this recording, they are doing a 1-year anniversary survey that I filled out and said, yeah, these rewards kind of suck. There's just not enough of them for a game that wants you to come back at least once every 3 days and play some more. The game is also incredibly slow. And they are changing the timings finally after a year, but I don't know if they're fixing it to be a faster experience or if they're fixing it just so you don't auto-surrender if you aren't paying attention, which has also been a problem, and I'm complaining a lot. What makes a Dream Mirror deck unique? Some Dream Mirror cards can use different effects depending on which of the two Dream Mirror field spells is activated. They are both light and dark Dream Mirror monsters. By working with the two, there are both light and dark Dream Mirror monsters. By working with the two attributes, you can bring forth some formidable fusion monsters. So, you would almost think with the swaps here that there's a possibility that this light monster flips over in the physical real world and then there's a copy of the dark monster, but no, that's not it. This needed probably to be more a like traditional image of the fusion, the very first fusion card ever made, because that's what they're really implying. You would have to draw 2 cards, and then either they can fuse without using fusion or they can fuse using fusion. For the most part, most cards after the first couple of series no longer really need the fusion spell card or similar. Yeah, the fusion spell card in particular, introduced just because I kind of needed to balance the early versions of the of Yu-Gi-Oh! And now the cards are better balanced and don't usually need that. Fusion summon Onuros, the Mirror Eating Earl King, and win the duel during this turn. First normal summon Ikelios, the Dream Mirror Mara. Okay. So look for the thing that's glowing. And then summon this dark monster. While there is a Dream Mirror monster on the field, you can special summon Neroy, the Dream Mirror Disciple, from your hand and make its attribute dark. Activate the effect Neroy, the Dream Mirror Disciple, and make its attribute dark. Same thing twice. Face up attack, I will assume. Now we're making it change to dark. Activate the field spell Dream Mirror of Joy, which I wouldn't have inherently assumed that this was a dark field spell with the rays of light. I guess maybe it doesn't really matter, though. Thought it did. The spell card Dream Mirror of Chaos, which is used for fusion summoning, can let you use monsters from both the field and from your hand to fusion as fusion materials when Dream Mirror of Joy is activated in your field zone. Okay. Use Neroid the Dream Mirror Disciple on your field and Morpheus the Dream Mirror White Knight in your hand as fusion materials to fuse Onorous the Dream Mirror Earl King. This is a lot of long words that almost certainly in the Japanese translations are not as big. So this is a dark, this is a light, this is a spell card, so it's not really anything. If anything, it's a water type spell card, which that's silly that the spell cards would even have a water thing or an attribute. This is just slowly walking us through everything. And you do all of that, and he's near the Dream Mirror Disciple, and I guess this one. So that's a light and a light. Interesting. So I'm very confused as to you have to use 2 lights to summon this new light. I skipped a sentence there. In order to make use of that effect, activate Ecolus the Dream Mirror Mara. Yeah. So, said it needed to be different attributes, and I guess technically it was different attributes because the card that was here was a light, but then it changed to a dark. Yeah. This new blue highlight is one of the things they've updated, so now it highlights the effects that can be activated at this time, which takes these longer English version descriptions, which are just full paragraphs really. It brings it down just so you know if you click the activate button now, you're going to do this. You're going to tribute this card and special summon another card. Use the effect of Onorous the Dream Mirror Elking to destroy your opponent's monster, and use this effect of Ecolus the Dream Mirror Sprite to add Dream Mirror Phantasms to your hand. Okay, so click yes here, which is pretty much what you always want to do. But many times when I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! I've clicked yes and then activated something that I didn't really mean to activate, and I've ended up destroying my own card because of it, because there wasn't a valid target otherwise. Activate Dream Mirror Phantasms. We still need 1,000 attack somehow. While Dream Mirror of Joy is in your field zone, the attack of your monsters on the field goes up by 500. Well, there's your 1,000. You use 2 powered up monsters to attack. Use your 2 powered up monsters to attack the opponent directly. How many cards have we really used so far in this one turn? This really does just kind of highlight how complicated or convoluted, perhaps, Yu-Gi-Oh! Has gotten. You have 4 cards that have left the field in this one turn. You have summoned 3 extra cards and the field spell, so 4 other cards. Like all in one turn. You destroyed an opponent with a special effect. You powered yourself up to do 4,000 attack. At a certain point, they might as well just go back to only giving the players 4,000 health instead of starting with 8,000 health if there are going to be one turn kill solutions in many scenarios anyways. And if you were playing that scenario in the real world and you had all those cards and you could do all of that, what would a real world opponent be able to do to stop that? You'd have to have something in your hand where you could negate a summoning or negate an effect, and that's basically only one card, Ash Blossom. And so everybody has to play Ash Blossom. Next we're going to get a card protector if we win with the loner deck, or we'll get 3 copies of this one card if we do it with my Zodiac Tri-Brigade deck. And this is difficulty level 3. I think a year in, Yu-Gi-Oh! Would probably be fine if they stopped making as much solo content. Maybe once a year put out 2 new expansions. It's not really in line with the the adding of new cards to Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel in general. There was about 6,000 cards out of the total of 10,000 cards in the paper card game version that are available to play when they first launched in Master Duel, and they've gotten to about 7,000 in 1 year. So they've been able to add about 1,000 cards, it looks like, from my recollection. And of those 1,000 cards, almost certainly nearly 900 of those are irrelevant cards that you couldn't play anyways. This animation style does really stand out as feeling like this was done by a different animator. Like, I don't know, maybe they did a special crossover and they got a famous animator to draw some images of Yu-Gi-Oh! But this is just not there's one monster in the middle of the frame type Yu-Gi-Oh! Card with no real background or nothing like that. And yeah, I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing, so let's just show how easy or how hard it is to potentially muddle our way through this. Dream Mirror. Could I special summon? Alright. Something else. Dark. That's a light. Trying to just see which of these cards would be your best bet. Alright, let's do this. Select this card. Summon this. Can't do anything there, can't do anything there. So I've just totally screwed up. I should have just matched this card. Come to think of it. Just look at what the opponent does. Inherently, that's one of the problems with the way I play Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that I don't pay attention at all to what the opponent does. I can only put enough attention into what cards are in my hand and what strategy I want to play. Let's see. Let's go ahead and start with this one. And then let's go ahead and activate that too, I guess. Let's see. Directly from your hand. Do we have a Dream Mirror of Terror? Dream Mirror of Joy. Yeah, let's just pick that. Seems like he's done the exact same thing. Alright, let's activate this effect. And then let's activate this effect. Then I guess we'll just do this again. Special summon that, I guess. Yeah, I have just like no idea what's going on here. But obviously I missed a trick there. Let's activate this effect. And not activate that effect and see what that does. I think the idea is you're supposed to be swapping things back and forth. So that you have a white and a light and a dark monster. Yeah, I'm really not sure what I'm supposed to be doing here. Does just seem like a whole bunch of nonsense. I mean, I complained about that simple version in which we only use 9 cards. We're ridiculously further down the well than that. And I'm left with either learning it proper or just activating everything and just hoping something works. Let's go ahead and banish that card, which probably doesn't help them much. Yeah, I thought the whole trick here was to special summon a 30,000 monster, but it doesn't seem like that's working. There you go. Let's see. Use that, I guess, as fusion material. Use that as fusion material. Go ahead and put that there. Guess we want more of these. Still doesn't really seem like there's too much you would want to do here. What is the ability? Negate the effect. Yeah, we don't want to negate the effect. Change the attribute of this guy, I guess. Nope. Put this in attack position, we could attack more. Or we could get rid of 2. Don't negate effects. Okay. So I guess the idea here is you're probably trying to have all light monsters or all dark monsters, and then figure out which cards would synergize with that. You could potentially increase 2 dark monsters here if I combine those 2, which that wouldn't make sense. So it would make lots more sense to do, say, this one, but then I can't do that apparently either, so neither one of those are good moves. So it seems like my best move is to simply do this. Don't think we want to activate an effect. We could potentially have negated the effect of that monster. Yeah. We'll let that get by us. I need to keep a slight eye on whether or not any of these monsters could have directly attacked. Yeah, we may be doing a pretty good field clear in this one turn. It's kind of a great example, though, of the problem with Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that you just don't see this. Yeah. When you're playing versus another player, you would have a timer here that you only have 300 seconds to do all your actions. 300 seconds almost certainly have gone by doing all of this. So even if you really knew what to do, I don't know if that really matters. And just swap things around again, I guess. So the light powers up all your characters, regardless of whether they're lights or darks, and the dark reduces the enemy. Let's see, what else do we have? A couple of ghost trick characters that you're probably not really supposed to summon. Okay. So you hit with your heavy hitter to clear the field, and then we'll smash them in the face as much as possible. And arguably, you should do nothing else after this. But let's see if maybe we could sacrifice enough to... We'd think you could take this, and then you could do that. But I guess those are link summoned characters, and thus you need a special fusion type monsters. Is that the thing? 2 light monsters. Yeah, I don't know why it always is defaulting to only this character. Light, light, light. Dark, light. Yeah, and of course if you've got a bunch of prompts, that's only going to slow down your gameplay even more. I'm glad these solo modes have gotten a little bit shorter and we aren't having to go through long chains of fights. Particularly since all these fights are the same anyways. It's just, here's a deck, we want you to win. You were supposed to somehow have magically figured out the strategy even though we barely even taught it to you. Okay. The real solution here is just to attack with this. And then do this. It would be different if these were puzzles. That would take more work, certainly, to solve. But a puzzle would certainly lean more into the idea of we're testing for comprehension versus we're just forcing you to play. I really couldn't blame too many people for just doing these first 4 and then skipping it. And we'll see if we even have enough resources. We just barely are going to have enough resources. Now we can see in this image that she's recapping the dream and saying it looks like him, that the demon looked like him. Yep. They've designed it so you just barely have enough resources to unlock the gates. Excuse me as I drink some water here. The fortune teller mused. The dream world of the sun was once filled with light and resplendence. So, interesting looking characters. It was a beautiful land of free and spirited souls, of holy beasts, gallant knights, and frolicking maidens. But on the other hand, the dream world of the moon was drowned in a deep, inky darkness. Yep. This really does just kind of feel like they sometimes want to draw a whole different, like, story. Just bring in different animators, tell a different story. And it only has to barely match anything else in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because Yu-Gi-Oh!'s incredibly inconsistent anyways, and I guess that works for the most part. And when playing the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game before there were any digital games to really focus on, like Duel Masters, or Master Duel here, then these stories probably would have only been told as side stories, maybe in a Yu-Gi-Oh! Side manga or anime episode, something easily forgotten. I wouldn't be surprised if this story does show up in a very late version of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Cartoon animes. Yeah, but it definitely feels different. It was a dreadful land where souls were trapped by despair, home to demonic beasts and knights of doom and reapers of death who showed no mercy. The dream ruler masterfully controls these worlds, bringing them into countless people. bringing into them countless people. Yeah, I'm misreading that. So is the Dream Master good or bad or neutral? I guess is the question. They have a spinning animation. Again, feels like the people in charge of animating these might be very early to the idea of making animations. It's always very simplistic things with still simplistic backgrounds. Yeah. In particular, the animation style here is very modern, if not moe, I would say at least kawaii is how I would describe it, which is the Japanese word for cute. It's very kind of far from the 90s era animation that you would have seen in first generation, first series Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And yeah, I guess at a certain point you have to move with the times, but it definitely feels weird. There's more closer to 90s era animation cards than there are like kawaii modern animation styles, and I don't even know if moe or kawaii is particularly even still quite in fashion. It may have changed again. Wouldn't mind particularly if they redrew a bunch of their old cards and re-released them, but the problem is their old cards don't need to be re-released and wouldn't be playable anyways, so making an extra different variant is not worth their effort, and it would be slimy way to just try and get money out of collectors. It's exactly the type of thing that Magic the Gathering is doing right now, is that they're taking a lot of old cards and putting new names on them, new skins on them, but they have the exact same effects, and they're selling the same cards over and over again. Very noticeably, there is a major difference between Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic the Gathering, in that Magic the Gathering only allows the most recent 4 or 5 expansions in tournament play, and then they make all of their cards basically unplayable in tournament play. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Has a limited list and a forbidden list, but it is considerably smaller. Probably a couple hundred cards out of 10,000, versus Magic the Gathering probably has made 10,000 cards and effectively banned 8,000 of those cards, or at least. Continuing with the story, which obviously I'm not that interested in, and in turn the dreams these people have become their power. Through the dreams the Dream Ruler gives people, it is through the dreams that the Dream Ruler gives people, it is able to gain control of their hearts. And those who become unable to tell dream from reality are said to never wake again. So he sounds like a bad guy. What will become of me then? Is a quote. The stranger asked, quivering with fright, hoping the fortune teller would have an answer. There's nothing to fear, my friend. Indeed, the tale of two dream worlds has been passed down through many generations, and many people in our time still visit them. Among the accounts from numerous dreamers, the most fascinating is that of a certain group of children. They did not become trapped in their dream, however, and upon waking they regaled their adventures with great joy to anyone who would listen. I'm sure that for you, your dreams are a good source of power for you too. Be not afraid and have faith in yourself. That could be your greatest strength against the Dream Ruler. And so that's probably where they're going to end it. I guess a little bit more. The stranger sighed, shoulders sagging with relief. Now that they felt safer, they left the fortune teller in the alleyway. Well, what do you think of that, dear reader? Question mark. So now they're just directly talking to the screen. Perhaps your dream tonight will be one from the Dream Ruler too. So yeah, fairy tale. this is, I guess, the first example of the game directly addressing you, and immediately we have a problem. So there is a secret pack with featured cards, somewhat focused around the Dream Mirror, although I'm not sure all of these cards are exclusive to this deck. If I look here and see which ones I have already, I already have a decent amount of the normal cards, because there is seemingly a lot of overlap in which you could collect all of these. And then I have absolutely none of the super rares and ultra rares. And none of it really matters because I just don't have enough crystals. I would need at least 2,000 to even risk it. And now this is going to go away in 23 hours. Yep. Now, I guess the question is, if I never did the solo modes, and this is the problem, is that your best bet probably would be to never do the solo modes until you have at least 2,000 to 3,000 crystals, but you would never get through them all at that rate. It's too slow, and they're adding too much more content too fast. Yeah. Noticeably though, nothing is actually even giving me crystals, so my original premise when I started this episode is potentially wrong, and that I'm not actually going to get any crystals even for the 1-year anniversary event. And I probably then, if that is the case, should just be playing the ranked play and getting small pittances of 5 crystals here and there with a victory. Again, a victory in ranked play potentially taking 20 minutes or more. There is 100 crystals here, so we do have some reward there. And if we get this way, there's just some character art for your avatar. They call them icons, which is basically worthless stuff. Alright, let's give this a college try though. We'll play one game with the deck that's the loner deck. If that doesn't work, I'll skip and use the Zodiac Tri-Brigade with my fairly smart understanding of Zodiac Tri-Brigade. I think let's activate spells before we summon. I'm playing just like general concepts, basically. Yeah. Yeah, with my understanding of Zodiac Tri-Brigade, I probably can win in any of these challenges. If I fully understood these cards in the 1.5 games I've played so far, that would be helpful. This is a dark. Do we have lights that we could summon? Not really, so it probably does benefit me to activate effect. I've never seen a situation where you have like an effect activating and then putting it in a different spot, or would change things. The location of where you place a card almost never matters. There is like one card that if you have 3 cards in a row you could destroy that entire column, and there's one card that will use any card in these special fusion zones as fusion material, but that's about the only 2 cards I've seen where things seem to matter. That went particularly poorly for me. So I guess we'll activate that. This guy's potentially just going to negate this effect. Yep, which is what I should have done previously. And I can't do anything else. Particularly, I may be trapped just because I'm behind the ball. He may just always be able to do enough damage to me to destroy everything I'm trying to summon. Again, nothing really happening. So by putting this guy face up and attacking, I'm just inviting him to attack and do 3,000 damage. I'm only at 4,200, so he probably could win in this one turn. And yet he's now moved to a more traditional Black Soldier of Chaos character. And inherently it does seem like they are setting themselves up always to focus back to that Yu-Gi-Oh character, the main character Yugi, or Yami, whoever, Yami, Yugi, playing Blackluster soldiers, playing magicians, dark magicians. In later anime series it's some other characters, but I don't think stuff changes really that much. Let's go ahead and activate this and toss this in. Put that up. Give me. So once again, I am just going to be showing off a very basic Zodiac Tri-Brigade deck. Not really going for anything special or anything that really synergizes against or with the Melodious Mirror deck that's being played here. And yeah, Call of the Grave is yet another example of a card that pretty much everybody has to play. Harpy's Feather Duster, a very old card, but still one that's fairly useful. Now we will special summon this guy. This is one of the things that... Well, I guess I'll try that. See what that does. Like, this is one of the things that slows down Yu-Gi-Oh! Too, is that you have a lot of cards that want to go in cycles if you're going to play it right, to just have an increased influence. Let's go ahead and do it this way. And in this scenario, actually, you might sometimes move around the order in which you summon these characters, but you are going to summon one of each of these Zodiac characters always, if you can. So now this has like 6 cards underneath him. which gives me 5 more opportunities to destroy things. And then, since I've attacked directly, I can summon Zeus with 5 cards underneath him, which lets me activate his effect and destroy everything on the field, and I will be doing that fairly quickly. I actually have gotten better with this deck than I was for at least the first 6 months in which I was playing it, because I did not know about this effect of Zeus, where if you directly attack you can summon Zeus. And just my ignorance there definitely led to more failure than I really needed to accept. And I don't really need to get super fancy with this, so we'll just summon up Tri-Brigade, Omnius Omen, whatever his name is. Don't activate his effect because he would then have to banish one of your own cards. And so you've got 3,000, 3,000, and 12,000, which is enough to win in this basically second turn. And just absolute board control. Still really slow. And not a 1-turn kill per se, but a more consistent 2-turn kill. The level in XP 1 year in, by the way, really seems like it's slowed down or stopped almost completely. I don't think any player really has gotten to a maximum level 60 or whatever the maximum is. Maybe it's level 50. Yep. So let's show off this loner deck, and then if we win or lose, that'll be the end of this episode. There's no more story. And then off screen I will probably leave things that just are going to unlock cards, but I probably will go back and do things that would give me crystals, even in previous single player expansions that I've already done. Because, yeah, if you manipulate it right, you only have to do 3 solo games for a month, because you can get that daily quest early in the month and then wait till the last few days of the month to accomplish it. So there really isn't a large reason to do solo a lot, or more than play more than 3 solo games in an entire month. Like, ideally there would be a reward for playing in solo that was at least 5 gems for every game you won. Like, anything even that consistent would push people to playing solo. But yeah, without that, you're pretty much left with a situation where you could play unranked, which they have added unranked. It took them nearly a year to add an unranked play to Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. And I don't know if you actually get rewards for winning in unranked, because it just didn't seem like you were gonna save any time or get any kind of better rewards by playing unranked versus ranked. Unranked allows you to experiment more with decks, and yes, I suppose that would have been a situation that I would have considered too, is would I be willing to build a new deck if I had to play it in ranked to test it out? I'm just tossing cards left and right. Okay. Do we have anything here we could Monster Reborn? Yes, we do. Let's see if we can pull this off. Monster Reborn, that on our side. And that is definitely a game changer. Summon this. Tribute this. Don't counter that effect. Don't think we want to do anything here. Yeah. I mean, we'll just activate that anyways, I guess. I mean, we really are just moving backwards and forwards in the effects. Seriously? What happened there? Well, I thought I had been somewhat wise, but apparently not. Let's see, get rid of that. Get rid of that. Okay. The one thing you are doing here, and you probably aren't making a big enough deal about that, is you're reducing your amount of cards. 32 to 27. And by reducing the number of cards in your deck, you are increasing the odds of having something useful drawn, like Harpy's Feather Duster. Let's see what this guy's gonna do. Seemingly nothing. Then I guess we don't have anything else that we have to do, so just attack and then attack. Even though attacking does nothing. I guess I should have made sure it does nothing. We're definitely not getting to these 10-star monsters at the moment. Let's see. 2+ monsters with different names. 2 light monsters. All light monsters on the field. Let's see if we can do that. That one. And then that one. And then point. Battle. Attack. Come over here. We may need to link summon the Nightmare at some point in the future. But if everything goes well, we can win this next turn. And if anything, this kind of just highlights how much it feels like Dumb Luck is a major player to as far as just whether or not you're going to succeed or in one of these battles. Here we go. 2,000 almost certainly is enough to defeat somebody, but actually wasn't. This guy already attacked, so let's tribute him and special summon this other character. And then I can attack with this character, even though it was just special summoned. Yeah, I have to say, that does not feel to me... Yeah, that doesn't look like it's really even moving upward. That does not feel like that was really a 5-star challenge compared to a 4-star difficulty. Because the previous one was more difficult, and then I can't help but think I just ran into some dumb luck. And I couldn't possibly care about the descriptions here, as far as introducing the idea of Earthbound, cards, or Melitis hybrid decks. Like, almost all of these decks are built around the idea of mixing two cards, 2 or 3 themes together. So yeah, off screen I will look at these other elements and see if any of these will pay crystals, and if they will, I will play them. Otherwise, I will leave them for the daily mission, which is probably finished now. Let's see. Duel. You only have to duel in 3 solo modes, and yeah, in the next 11 days I'll almost certainly get that. They've also changed the animation when you claim things, made it a little bit flashier. A year in, there are still considerable amounts of lifetime goals that have not been accomplished. Dual living to watch somebody else play is still a daily goal for no good reason, but it gives you crystals, so whatever. Daily logins or the daily quests are still around. Daily login is just logging into the app. Daily quests are doing something in the app. They've changed the interface somewhat. But yeah, as far as secrets, I haven't seen any new secrets at all, and nor have I made major progress. A lot of these I have definitely gotten completely done with, but to reach rank diamond, which is a new rank they added, is very difficult, if not impossible, because it is above platinum, which was the highest rank before. And then the rest of this is just eventually in time you would probably accomplish this. Although it may, if it's taken me a year to get 1,000 of these, I'd have to play some kind of different deck to get the other 2,000 in less than a couple years. It is definitely questionable whether you would still be playing in a couple years. Like, I am more burnt out than ever, having played Hearthstone than Yu-Gi-Oh! I played Hearthstone, and then I played Shadowverse, and then I played Magic the Gathering Arena for a short time. And now I'm playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, so it's probably been close to 9, if not 10 years that I've been fairly consistently streaming some sort of collectible card game every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And my live streams definitely have changed quite a bit, and it's turned much more into just live chat rambling and video game news and looking at games that have come out on Steam, and most recently taking games that look somewhat decent that have been released on Steam or updated on Steam and turning them into YouTube Shorts, which has been surprisingly successful on my YouTube channel since I introduced Shorts. here you can see level 31 and 50. Yeah, and it does seem like getting up in Duelist level is an incredible crawl. I wouldn't be surprised if it takes twice as much XP to go from 32 to 33 than it does to go from 31 to 32. So yeah, at some point, it definitely is a thought that I may find a way to stop playing a collectible card game altogether. And that's not really a criticism of Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. There are definitely things to criticize it about. It's just that I don't know if I really need to play collectible card games, even though they still seem to be fairly popular. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links in the description. There's also a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist to support me further. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.